loose, relax, and let down your guard. Can you imagine for a moment how rare you are? You were designed to express your highest potential, like a king, like a queen. Your identity is special. No human hands, nothing unseen can stop this heavenly happening. The day you were born and you started breathing, the song played on and kept on announcing. 'Cause you are the beloved child of God. You have been created by the one who made heaven and earth. You are the beloved child of God, a light for all the world to see, expressing love eternally. You are the beloved child of God. From the beginning of all time, you were given many gifts. Your mission was to find something that would give the world a lift. The angels knew there would be some mountains in your way, but you could use their wings to fly. When you encountered a stormy day, no human hands, nothing unseen can stop you when you really know the light and the love that springs from your soul is priceless, worth more than silver or gold. 'Cause you are the beloved child of God. You have been created by the one who made heaven and earth. You are the beloved child of God, a light for all the world to see, expressing love eternally. You are the beloved child of God. Time stands still when you can hear this song in your heart. You were not meant to cry. You were not meant to die, but to live each day knowing just who you are. You are the precious light of God. You are the beloved child of God. You have been created by the one who made heaven and earth. You are the beloved child of God, a light for all the world to see, expressing love eternally. You are the beloved child of God. somewhere. She really shouldn't be sitting there so cold and lonely. If you ask me the questions, I'll tell you no lies. What we are wondering is where the answer lies. What do we do and what should we say? All I know is there's one question. Can we change the world? Will we find the answers? Will we change the world? Can we make it right? Brother fights brother, fair play's no longer fair. Money still makes the world go round. Make love if you dare. It really should not be this way, but just living in the world today, so hard to do. Can we change the world? Will we find the answers? Will we change the world? Can we make it right? Can we change the world? Will we find the answers? Will we change the world? Can we make it right? If you ask me the questions, I'll tell you no lies. What we are wondering is where the answer lies. What do we do and what should we say? All I know is there's one question. Can we change the world? Tell me, can we change the world? We'll find the answer. Will we find the answers? Will we change the world? If I change and you change, we could make it right. Can we change the world? You and I were truly free. Will we find the answer? What a wonderful world this would be. Will we change the world? I can't change, you can't change. So let's make it right. Can we change the world? We could change the world. Find the answer. Only we could find the answer. Change the world. 'Cause we can change the world. Can we make it right? We can make it right. Only we can change the world. Only you and me. Only you and me. to thee. I need thee every hour, most gracious Lord, no tender voice like thine can pass afford. I need thee, oh, I need thee. Every hour I need thee, oh, bless my Savior, come to
Great and glorious morning. I'm Reverend Cheryl McCullough, and this truly is your time of transformation. So thank you for joining us this morning. Isn't it wonderful that we have technology? Just hearing Marlissa Hudson, I need thee. So good to hear her voice. And technology provided that for us this morning, as well as our wonderful choir, which I truly missed. What a friend we have in Jesus. And as is our practice, a member of our prayer ministry will be holding us in prayer during the entire service. And as the choir indicated in the song, you take it to the Lord in prayer. And you're invited to join in with the prayer ministry every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. for the prayer call. And you know, we pray many times, sometimes not even thinking about it, to just make it a practice, something that we do daily. And I want to engage all of you this morning before we move forth in prayer. For right now, I feel it is something that we really need to do right here, right now. And I also want to share with you a reason for doing that as well is our beloved Reverend Sylvia's mother, Mrs. Adams, is having a health challenge, and she's in the hospital right now, and just want to extend her prayer, but also praying for all others who may be experiencing that health challenge. So just take a moment with me in the silence as we send prayer and know that all is well for those who need the health and wholeness and healing right now. So please get still with me. For God, as we know, that you are the indwelling power and presence, and it always resides within us. Right here, right now, we recognize that presence, knowing that you are the one life, you are the one power, that one eternal presence that is the source and substance of life. And this prayer is an affirmation that the health and wholeness of all of our beloveds are already complete. We simply affirm that wholeness be revealed. And we give thanks for perfect healing and the vitality of their physical body with grace and ease. Father, Mother God, we surrender our conscious minds to the full and complete direction of Spirit. We simply let go and let God. We release these words into the universe, knowing that the perfect and right healing action has already taken place even before these words have been spoken. And for this we are eternally grateful. And so it is. Amen. Now you can submit your request for prayer online or call the office. You can also do this if you need spiritual counseling, and the appropriate ministry will be notified of your request. So again, thank you for joining me in prayer. Some brief announcements. This is our first Sunday Reiki blessing, and it will be offered immediately after the service. And I certainly say, sit still. Feel that healing energy that Reiki will bring you. Our youth activities resume today, so check your website for the specific time and the links that you will need in order to connect. Divine Connections continues on Wednesdays with Reverend Sylvia at 3 o'clock. Silent Unity Prayer and Meditation Service is also this Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. on our YouTube channel. And we're in the month of August. Can you believe it? It's August 1st. So beginning on Wednesdays, August 18th through September 29th at 6:30 p.m., the online class, The Faith Factor, a Transformative Bible Study. And your facilitator for this is our very own Reverend Beverly Saunders Biddle. And next month, yes, September, we've got things coming up. The SEE class, Discerning Your Purpose, will begin Tuesdays, September 7th, and go through October 5th. And this will be at 6:30 p.m. And our licensed Unity teacher, Sylvia Nzinga Quinton, will be your instructor for that class. And Thursday, September 9th, is our World Day of Prayer. All is well with my soul is the theme. The prayer ministry is planning a full day of activity for you. So just look for the announcements that will be coming up within the next couple of weeks with specifics. Gentle reminder, read the emails that we send out to you during the week. Or check out our website, unityofwashingtondc.org. We have everything on there laid out for you, our classes and events, and ways that you can donate to this ministry. And now moving on, the introduction of our speaker, and she's been with us before. Reverend Sandra Wayne Campbell. And Reverend Campbell is an ordained Unity minister and currently serves as the associate minister at Unity Temple on the Plaza in Kansas City, Missouri. She is also on the board of directors with Unity World Headquarters at Unity Village. Prior to ministry, Reverend Sandra retired from a 42-year career with the federal government, where her last position was that of a manager with the Federal Aviation Administration. She also is an accomplished playwright, speaker, storyteller, and historical reenactor. Reverend Sandra is currently working on a doctorate in ministry through Holos University. She's a busy lady. She and her husband live in Lee's Summit, Missouri. They have 2 adult children, 5 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Reverend Sandra is the primary caregiver of her mother, and she will be celebrating 101 years this Thursday. So we say happy birthday to her in advance. I'm looking forward to Reverend Sandra's message today because it's titled, Yada, Yada, Yada. So I want to see what that's all about. So get ready. And although she cannot see you or feel your presence where maybe she is, let us extend her a warm welcome. Reverend Campbell?
I invite you now to find a comfortable position in your seat, wherever you are, with your back straight. Feel that breath moving through your body, raising you up. And then as you release that breath, feel yourself just, totally relaxing. Take another deep conscious breath. And as you relax into your body, release any thoughts or feelings that may be vying for your attention and allow your heart to open. Take these words as your own. Infinite Spirit, I now quiet my mind, release any worries, and open to divine wisdom within me. In the soothing silence, I find divine ideas, insights, and answers. I now invite you to concentrate more deeply by centering your thoughts on the ever-present energy of God in your life. Take in another deep breath, and as you do, bring to mind the word God. And then as you release that breath, bring to mind the words I am. Slowly inhale, God. Exhale, I am. Repeat this until you feel completely centered and focused in this moment. Take these words as your own. The voice of Spirit resonates from my heart, offering new ways of thinking, being, and doing. Breathing in God, breathing out I am. In silence, experience the power of your own divinity, knowing you share all the attributes of God: love, strength, wisdom. Continue to focus your attention on your breathing. When thoughts try to distract you, just release them, gently let them go. Return your attention to breathing in God, breathing out I am. Breathing in God, breathing out I am. Breathing in God, breathing out I am, in the silence. Breathing in God, breathing out I am. And now as you return to this now moment, feel a click as everything falls into place. You know all is well, regardless of outer circumstances. It is done. And we affirm together, I am now guided to right action. Breathing in God, breathing out I am. My mind is now open. My heart is receptive. And we express our gratitude. We empower ourselves with a sense of gratitude for everything as we affirm, I am grateful and I am blessed. Breathing in God, breathing out I am. Slowly return your attention to this time and this space. When you feel ready, you may open your eyes. Look around you and join me in this affirmation. I am open to God's guidance in the choices I make each day, large and small. Facing uncertainty or confusion, I stop. I pray. I listen, trusting I will be shown the way. With unshakable faith, I know the best possible solutions to take are clearly revealed to me, and I am grateful. If you make this practice every day, at least once a day, to go into the silence, to relax, concentrate, meditate, realize and appreciate. Set aside your worries, your doubts, and your fears just for a moment of silence, breathing in God, breathing out I am. When you make this a habit, then you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. In the words of that Hebrew expression, to know, yada, yada, yada. And so it is, and so it will be. Amen. Hello, everyone at Unity of Washington, D.C. I'm so grateful to be able to be with you again at this time. I want to thank your amazing staff and Reverend Sylvia and your musicians for making this service possible. You are all absolutely amazing, and I feel so blessed to be a part of this. I always start with my special prayer. Lord, fill my mouth with worthwhile stuff and nudge me when I've said enough, so that my beginning and my endings come so close together you don't even have time to fall asleep. I also like to get you interested in what I have to say with a little humor. During the holiday, a wife invited some friends to have dinner at their home. Before the meal, she turned to her 6-year-old daughter and asked her to say the grace. The little girl said, I really don't know what to say. She said, well, just say what you've heard Mommy say. So she closed her eyes, put her palms together and said, Lord, why did I ever invite all these people over for dinner? If you ever want truth, just ask a child. There's another one I want to share with you that's short, and I thought it was really perfect too. A preacher rings the doorbell, and the little girl answers. The family was having a picnic in the backyard. And have you ever tried to get ketchup out of the bottle, especially, when it's down low and not a full bottle, and you're banging on it. The mother had been hitting the bottom of the bottle for a while trying to get the ketchup out. The preacher says, is your mommy home? I want to talk to her. He says, yes, she's out in the backyard. Is she busy? Yes, she's hitting the bottle. Now, you know what the preacher might have thought, but this is a child, and she was very innocently telling the truth. Her mother was hitting the bottle, but that doesn't mean she was drinking, right? So I said all that to say both of those stories illustrate this idea I want to talk to you about, truth. The title of my lesson today is Yada, Yada, Yada. You might wonder where I came up with that. I always like to look up the origin of words. And yada is Hebrew for to know. The scripture I've chosen is from the book of John in the textbook we refer to as the Bible. It's in the 8th chapter, the 31st and the 32nd verses. I'm going to read it to you from the New Living Translation. Jesus said to the people who believed in him, "You are truly my disciples if you keep obeying my teachings. And then you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free." So I want to talk to you about this truth and Jesus' teachings. You might remember the movie, 1992 movie that I love, A Few Good Men. And you probably, if you don't remember anything else about that movie, you remember the famous words that we often hear over and over again that Jack Nicholson, the actor, said. But what you don't know is that was not what was written in the script. In the script, he was supposed to say, "You already have the truth." But you know what he said. He embellished the words, "You can't handle the truth." You know, there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of times the truth can be hitting us in the face, but we can't handle the truth. So I'm going to tell you a story about truth and the story of truth. Kind of get you thinking about what this means. You can't handle the truth, but if you know the truth will make you free. Truth walked into a village. The local inhabitants started cursing at her, spewing epithets, and chased her out of the village. Truth walked along the road to the next town. They spit at her, cursed at her, spewed epithets, and drove her out of town. Truth walked lonely and sad down the empty road until she reached the next town, still hoping to find someone who was happy to see her, who would embrace truth with open arms. But nobody did. So she walked into the third town, this time in the middle of the night, hoping that dawn would find the townsfolk happy to see truth with dawn's light. But as soon as they laid eyes on her, they ran into their homes and came back throwing garbage at her. Truth ran off out of town into the woods, and after crying and cleaning the garbage off herself, returned to the edge of the woods where she heard laughter, singing, and applause. She saw the townsfolk cheering as Story entered the town. They brought fresh meats, soups, pies, pastries, and offered them all to Story, who smiled and lavished in their love and appreciation. Come twilight, Truth was sulking and sobbing at the edge of the woods. The townsfolk disdainfully ignored her, but Story came out to see just what her story was. Truth told Story how all the townsfolk had mistreated her, how sad and lonely she was, how much she wanted to be accepted and appreciated. Story replied, "Of course they all reject you." Story looked at Truth, eyes a bit lowered to the side. "No one wants to look at the naked truth." So Story gave Truth brilliant, beautiful clothing to wear, and they walked into the town together, Truth and Story. And the townspeople greeted them with warmth and love and appreciation, for truth wrapped in Story's clothing is a beautiful thing and easy to behold. And ever since then, truth travels with Story, and they're always accepted and loved. And that's the way it is, that's the way it was, and that's the way it will always be. Truth and Story. So while many people resist the Bible because they take it literally, when we look beyond the literal and we relate those stories to our own lives, the truth is revealed to us. One of those truths that I like to read about is revealed in the book of John again, the 4th chapter, the 1st through the 42nd verses. I'm sure you're familiar with the story of the woman at the well. It was the height of the day, maybe summertime like here, very hot and humid. And Jesus had sent the disciples into town. They were going from Samaria to Galilee and stopped at Jacob's well in Sychar. While the disciples were off in town, Jesus approached a woman at the well and asked her to give him a drink of water. The woman proceeded to ask him questions. "How can I give you water? You don't have a rope or a bucket to draw the water. You don't have anything to put the water in. And why are you asking me for water anyway? Don't you know I'm a Samaritan? And you're a Jew. You shouldn't even be talking to me. And I'm not even supposed to be seen here in the middle of the day. I definitely don't want to be seen talking with you. I'll get in trouble." And he said to her, "If you knew who it was who was asking you for water, you would ask him, and he would give you living water that you would never thirst again." The woman was really curious now. You see, in Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, written by Unity's co-founder Charles Fillmore, the Samaritan people were of mixed race, meaning mixed consciousness. They weren't tied to one particular religious belief or order, but they had ideas that were all over the map. And this woman was open-minded enough to ask Jesus some questions and then to listen to what he had to say instead of running away and hiding. So Jesus said to her, she says, I want some of this living water. Where can I get it? What is it? And he says to her, go and get your husband and I'll explain it to you. She says, well, I don't have a husband. You see, the reason he asked her that was during this time, you got to put it in the historical context of the time. It was unlawful for a man to be talking with a woman, especially a woman who was single, without the presence of another man with her, a brother, an uncle, a father, or particularly her husband. So Jesus asked her to go and get her husband so that they could have this conversation. He could further explain this living water. She says, well, I don't have a husband. He says, oh yeah, I know that. As a matter of fact, I know that you've had 5 husbands, and the man you're living with is not your husband. Now the woman is really curious as to how this stranger, who she did not know, would know all these things about her. Had people been talking behind her back? She was shunned. After all, she wasn't even supposed to be there during the daytime. The other women would criticize and mock her and gossip about her because she was a Samaritan, and the Jews did not care for Samaritans according to the story. So we're talking about truth in the story. So let's not forget that. There's truth in the story. So Jesus reveals a truth to her because instead of him criticizing or condemning or judging her, he looks at her as an equal. He talks to her as an equal. He sets aside the fact that he's a Jew and she's a Samaritan. He sees the God in her. He sees her humanity and not anything that's broken. He sees her whole and complete. As Unity's second principle, that she's a child of God, made in the image and likeness of God. Therefore, she's inherently good, and everyone is inherently good. So the woman is so excited about this man that she says, I hear there's a Messiah coming. And for the first time publicly, Jesus reveals who he is to this strange woman. He says, I am the Messiah. She runs off to tell everybody about what just happened and how this man knew her whole life story. And there's something unique about this man. Others came to talk to him. He stayed in that town for 2 or 3 days just talking to the people, the common, everyday, ordinary people that he wasn't even supposed to mingle with because he saw their humanity, their divinity. You can't see that if you don't have the truth revealed in you about your own divinity. So that story is about love, unconditional love, truth, redemption, and acceptance. I have a personal story to share with you about the revelation of truth. See, in my beginning, the Genesis means beginning, the very first book in the textbook we call the Bible, and the Revelation is the last book. So in your beginning, you're innocent, you know very little, you're learning, but once that revelation of truth, that truth that's always been there, that's been hidden from you, is revealed, it transforms your life. So I had a transforming experience. You see, I had this wide gap between my teeth, almost wide enough for another tooth, at least a half of a tooth. And I was so insecure. I was teased a lot. In fact, I was told it was a lie gap and that every word out of my mouth was a lie because I had this gap. And I believed that. And I believed that I was ugly because other people said that gap is ugly. You're ugly. And I bought into that. So in my small mind, my beginnings, I decided that when I got grown and I had a good job, I was going to pay somebody to close this gap. A family friend who happened to be one of the best dentists in town just recently made his transition, Dr. Tom Jones. When I approached Dr. Jones, I was around 21, and I said, I want my gap closed. And Dr. Jones gave me a lesson in truth. He said, Sandra, closing your gap is not going to change the way you feel about yourself on the inside. Until you can see the beauty on the inside, you'll never appreciate how beautiful you are on the outside. Your gap is beautiful, and so are you. I couldn't hear a word he said. I wanted that gap closed. So he told me to go away and think about what he said for 2 weeks and come back. And if I still wanted the gap closed, he would reluctantly do it. 2 weeks later, I showed up at his office and said, I want my gap closed. He said, okay, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. So he sawed down 2 perfectly good teeth, and he put caps over them, eventually, veneers and then the crowns. And I went off happy as a lark, but it didn't change much. I still didn't see what Dr. Jones said was in me. I didn't see the truth, that I was beautiful just the way I am. 10 years later, I had a revelation. I'd been in Unity about 10 years then and studying truth, studying the principles and applying them in my life. And Dr. Jones' words just loomed large, and I decided I wanted my gap back. So I went back to Dr. Jones and said, can you give me my gap back? And Dr. Jones was ecstatic. He couldn't wait to take those crowns off and create some smaller ones so that my gap showed through. He said, you finally see the truth in yourself. And that truth is revealed in unity, in the gap between our thoughts, when we go into the silence and we listen to that still small voice within. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, Unity's co-founders' oldest son, Lowell Fillmore, was responsible for Unity making a gigantic footprint in the early days. And he lived on to be 94 and saw Unity grow and grow and grow because these concepts are relative, relevant, and relationable to everybody. They give us a whole new way of interpreting truth. And one of his interpretations appears in a poem he called The Answer. I want to share that with you. It's about his revelation of truth. He writes, when for a purpose I had prayed and prayed and prayed, until my words seemed worn and bare with arduous use. And I had knocked and asked and knocked and asked again, and all my fervor and persistence brought no hope. I paused to give my weary brain a rest and ceased my anxious human cry. In that still moment, after self had tried and failed, there came a glorious vision of God's power, and lo, my prayer was answered in that hour. And what Lowell Fillmore is talking about is the gap that we create when we go into the silence. The very foundation of unity is about the silence. When Unity's co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore, experienced a revelation of truth in the healing of her body after being diagnosed with terminal tuberculosis at the age of 40 and being given 6 months to live, Myrtle Fillmore turned within after hearing Reverend E.B. Weeks say in a workshop that she attended, I think it was probably like a tent revival, I am a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness. And she took that truth within and learned to apply that from the inside out. On the outside, the appearance was terminal tuberculosis, 6 months to live. But she did not use that appearance to govern the truth for her. She sought a deeper truth by going into the stillness. I understand it took Myrtle Fillmore 2 years of going into the silence on a regular basis until it became such a habit. She would speak truth to every part of her body in the silence. And the truth was revealed, and she lived another 40 years. And that was the basis on which the Center for Silent Help was started, we now call Silent Unity, a 24-hour prayer service. That's the foundation of the Unity movement because of that healing of learning to go between your thoughts in that gap where not the lie gap that I was told it was, but the truth, the gap where the truth lies. Unity refers to this as affirmative prayer. It's empowering prayer. It's not begging or beseeching God for anything. We shift our attention from our human circumstances and focus on our spiritual nature, our oneness with the infinite. From this state of awareness, we know that there is truth beyond our circumstances. We realize our capacity to think and act accordingly. We know the truth, and it's that truth that makes us free. Lowell Fillmore referred to affirmations as metaphysical gadgets. And he used such metaphysical gadgets for every life experience, and I'll just share a few with you. Like when answering the doorbell or on the way to an appointment, he suggested we say, I go to meet my good. And if you're having heart trouble, my heart is right with God. For prosperity, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. When something has been misplaced, there is nothing lost in spirit. When entering a new home or any building, I greet the presence and power of God here. When your back is against the wall and problems facing you seem to be beyond your human solution, there is but one presence and one power in my life. In times of health challenge, affirm life. In times of trouble, affirm peace. And when starting on a trip, the Spirit of the Lord goes before me, making safe, happy, successful, and prosperous my way. In Unity, we have a 5-step prayer process that works. From the age of 21 to today, I have put this practice to use, and I have found that when I get into that gap between my thoughts, the truth is revealed. I'll share this practice with you during our time of meditation. For now, I'll give you an explanation of how it works. The first step is relaxation. That's when we relax our minds, we center ourselves, we begin to concentrate on being in the present moment, letting go of any distractions, any thoughts, any worries, any doubts, any fears, allowing those to come and to go. We breathe deeply and we focus our attention on being in the present. Concentration is when we recognize the power of God as life, love, and wisdom, and all good, everywhere present. And then we go into meditation in the silence, where we reflect on the truth of our being. There is nothing but good. We affirm that truth, that greater is the Spirit of God in us than anything that is in the world. And then we allow ourselves to just be in that stillness. As Scripture says, in quiet and in confidence shall be your strength. And then at some point when you begin to open yourself up and you allow your heart to open, you experience a revelation of truth, a realization. And it may come long after you sit in the silence. Remember, it took 2 years for Myrtle Fillmore to come to the truth of her being, that she was God's whole and perfect child and did not inherit sickness. And then once you know that you have the power to do, to be, and to have whatever it is that you're seeking, you allow God to be God in you. And then you express your appreciation for that knowingness, for that truth. Grateful for not the appearance of things that might not be the way you want them, but grateful that beyond the appearance is the truth, that everything you're seeking is seeking you. So when we use the word yada, 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 to know, to know, to know, be still and know that I am God. And when you put these works to practice, and when you truly affirm and connect with God through affirmative prayer and meditation, and you put this into your daily repertoire, like many of us have done for many years, then you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Yada, yada, yada. And so it is. Amen.
Yes, we thank our choir again and the trio for bringing us. The Lord is blessing us right now, always. That is something that we know, so thank you. And what an insightful message from Reverend Campbell. And I must say, and kind of give a little shout out to our healing and wholeness class, for we just discussed that in our last session. So it was so wonderful. So you see that it is just to know. We see the truth. It's before us all the time. There is no mistakes in spirit in what is brought to light. And we repeat these things so that they will have an imprint on that subconsciousness. So thank you, Reverend Campbell. We do appreciate that. Let us now bless our offering. I always ask that you put your hands together in blessing, in prayer, for that which you will give, and give from your heart. For what you give comes back to you multiple times, shaken down, much bigger than you can even imagine. So affirm with me our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I don't know about you, but I receive in joy. Please see the various giving platforms that will be on camera after the session has closed out, or you can go to our website or call the office if you do not see them on screen. And we thank you for your consistency and generosity in giving. Our affirmation for the week, and listen up, it's a little longer, but I love it. Thank you, Reverend Campbell. I am open to God's guidance in the choices I make every day, large and small. In the face of uncertainty or confusion, I stop, I pray, I listen, trusting I will be shown the way. With unshakable faith, I know the best possible solutions to take are clearly revealed to me, and I am grateful. So please meditate on that during your week. Can't get any better than that. We extend the hand of fellowship for you to join us again next week, 11 o'clock a.m. right here. And I ask that you continue to stay safe and follow the CDC protocols as it relates to COVID. Be blessed and a blessing. And we're going to close out a little differently to prepare for our Reiki healing blessing. So just get still. Thank you, and namaste.